Hi everybody, this is Lars from CAMWorks.com. In this little video we're going to take the MFG.com challenge and turn it over towards CAMWorks. If you watched the previous video, you saw how I had come across a pretty neat ad in one of my trade magazines for MFG.com where they said, can you make this part? And I thought, yeah, we can make this part, and I made a little video how I made this part up in SolidWorks. So here is the part. And now the question is, can we do this in CAMWorks? And of course we can. Now, before we get started, I just want to say that I'm going to take a standard mill here, and imagine that you're doing this in a vertical mill, standard vertical mill. We could do this in 4-axis or 5-axis, whatever we want to do, but since I was assuming that most people just are working with vertical machines, I'm just going to take the approach as we are attacking this part from the top here, milling around it, facing it off, doing the inside hole, the 4 tap holes here, maybe flip it over for a second operation, finish the outside, face up the top, do the 4 holes, and then we're gonna go ahead here and maybe use a ball end mill just to slot down here and flip it around, slot the other side, flip it 90 degrees over like this, slot it here, and flip it over and do the other 90 degrees. So that's kind of like going to be my attack here. So I got my CAMWorks toolbar turned on. I got my 2 tabs over here. So I'm pretty much ready to go. We got our SolidWorks tree here. So what I'm going to do is I have gone into my stock manager and I have added on in here some 1mm stock all the way around, and I picked the material here. So I'm pretty much ready to go, and I'm just going to use the example mill that comes with CAMWorks, so it's nothing fancy or something like that. I'm just going to hit the extract machinable features and just see what this algorithm can come up with in finding for 2.5-axis tool paths for me. This algorithm is the same one that is used for FeatureWorks inside SolidWorks. If you have Premium or Professional, FeatureWorks is actually a geometric project just like CAMWorks is. So what it came up with was 2 setups. That's it set up there, and we look here in the screen, we see there's an arrow showing us the machining from that side and another one from the other side. So what I normally do when I get to this point here is I just kind of like go over and generate an operation plan just to see what exactly it came up with. We can use what we want to use, we can delete what we want to delete and stuff like that. I'm just going to go over and generate a tool path. And if you see here, it found some different tools. It, matter of fact, found our M6 holes we put in here in the part, right? So we don't have to really worry about those. And since it picked those, it probably also picked the, or it actually also did pick the drill and the countersink. So the first one's going to be a contour mill. So I'm just going to go in here to my simulation, and I'm just going to let it simulate through the first tool here. So here it comes in, and it machines around it, right? You will see that I'm standing actually on a corner over here instead of on the middle, just so we don't get that little bump I normally feed in and out of a corner. So that looks like good going around there. Next, I'm just going to let my face mill come down here. It's going to take that 1mm off. Okay. And next we're going to get this countersink coming in here, making some start holes here. And we're going to have a drill coming in. And finally our tab's going to come in here too, right? Our M6. And then we're going to be drilling through here, and we're going to be doing the center cutout here. Okay. So as you see here, we got our first operation through here, and we could go in and use the compare, so we can compare with the solid model that we have created in the SolidWorks. So everything in green means that it's finished, and everything in blue means it's still stock. So we can see the slots there, we can see the bottom. So that looks pretty good there. So I'm going to say right now that, you know, we got pretty far with just clicking a couple of buttons here. We might want to tweak certain things, but we can of course always go into edit definition in here, and we have all the different tabs and stuff like that that we use to in any CAM system. Now for the second operation, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to process that one. And that one is just like in SolidWorks, we're using defined and underdefined. So pink means that they haven't been defined yet, and black means that it's full defined. Going to process the toolpath, and now we got that. So now if we go over and look at that, we can see that if you simulate this whole thing from the top versus just the back side we just looked at, here comes it through with the end mill, right? Then it's going to go around the outside on that one, face that off, and spot and tap. Alright, so pretty quickly we got that taken care of. However, we still have to do something about these slots here, and our extract machinable features didn't find it, so we're going to have to do a little bit of manual work with this part. I'm going to do that by actually go back over here to our SolidWorks tree, and I'm going to open up a sketch on the top plane here. Okay, and I'm going to go normal too, and I'm just going to go over and use the corner rectangle here, and go over and just create a little rectangle, snap it into the corners here. And actually I don't really need this as a solid line, but it's a construction lines, because the only reason that I did this was just so I can create a line through the center and create my slot operation. Okay, so by done this here, we have this sitting right here. Maybe we want to rename this just to make it easier. First slot. So that's sitting there, this geometry here. And now I can go over to my CAMWorks feature tree tab. I'm going to right click on my stock manager and insert a mill part setup. Basically this is using to tell us what side we're machining from, and I can just pick a face here. As soon as I do that, I get an arrow that is the face I'm machining in, and as soon as I click that, I get a mill part setup, empty mill part setup up here. I'm going to right click on it, say insert a 2.5 axis feature. And actually it's set to open profile. You can see the different ones that we have right here. But open profile, and I actually have my sketch sitting right here. It will show possible sketch. And I hit that one. Next tab here, this is all like working inside SolidWorks, right? The same kind of like terminology. So the depth, I'm just going to hit this vertex down here. Okay? So it automatically see the green one going down there. It set the strategy as a taper. I don't want that. I'm just going to set it as a coarse one and go ahead and hit finish. Okay? Close this out, and now I got an open profile sitting right here under define. I'm going to right click, hit operation toolpath, and it jumps over to my operation tree, and down here it found an end mill that I know is coming right out of the database, and you can see over here in the preview window that's not what we're looking for. So I'm just going to go over to my tool, go into my tool crib, and I'm going to add a tool. So I'm going to go down here, and here's all the different tools we can choose from. I'm going to hit a ball end mill, ball nose end mill, and I'm just going to set a filter here. And in here now I can just go down and find our 6 millimeters. If you remember when we did the SolidWorks portion of this, it was a radius of 3. And let me just go down and select that one. So it's sitting down here, click it and select it. Okay, and yeah, I'm going to take the tool holder also for it. I'm not going to display it though. But now you will see we got our ball end mill over here. Now I said before how we can edit and tweak things in here, and there's a couple of things we need to tweak. If we go over here, first of all, on the depth portion of it, I want it to zigzag down, go one side, zigzag, go one side, zigzag, and I probably don't want 15 millimeters depth of cut either. I probably only want to put in 2. Now over here, I am going to slot straight down, so I don't need any compensation, and in here too, right? Turn those off. Let's just look at a preview, and we can see here in the preview that that probably looks pretty well at what we want. If we just step it down, right? Step down, so it's going to zigzag down like that. Okay, so I think this looks pretty good here. Okay, now let's go in and actually run this part here. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to simulate. And again, I get a warning because my flute length is not long enough to do the slot here, right? You can see that right there, that the flute length there is not going to interfere with that. So I need to do something about that. For here, I'm just going to ignore them. So there is our first slot to going down there, right? Now, I'm going to assume that we can just rotate the part 180, run the same part, the same setup again. Possibly we could do this and have a stop in our vise or something like that. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna attack this one over here, right, on the side. Now if you saw the first video, you saw how I actually went over and I actually stole this one of the sketches by Control C, hit a face, and do a Control V. And I'm of course going to just do the same thing again on this part here. So it shows up here. Now it's not the right way, so I'm just going to go in and edit the sketch. Go to Tools, Sketch Tools, Modify, and this little Modify Sketch tool comes up here. I can rotate it 90 degrees like that, and now I can just use my standard restraints to just tie everything down. So if I'm going to hold down Control, click on this point to this point here, and make that coincident, right? And I can go over and do this point to this point and make that coincident, and then I just need to go over here and do this point to this point and make that coincidence, and the whole thing is fully defined because it got, you know, vertical and horizontal relationships there. So now we created our second sketch here, and that could then be our second slot, right? And basically now I'm just going to go in and do the exact same thing to this one here. Go over to my CAMWorks feature tree. I get a rebuild because it saw that I moved around and changed the sketch. So CAMWorks, as soon as it sees that, it want to, you know, throw something at you. So if you do some design changes, CAMWorks is gonna take that into consideration. I'm gonna go over here and right click and insert another mill part setup. This time it's gonna be on this side here. And I'm gonna go right click, say I'm gonna insert a 2.5x feature. Now we see our second slot sitting right here waiting for us. And again, my depth, I'm just gonna go down and hit the vertex. And for this chorus, and say finished. Right click, generate an operation plan. And again, I just need to change the tool, but now I already got it, so I can just go into the tool crib and go all the way down to the bottom right and sitting right down here, select it there, take the tool holder with it, and we still got to turn off these here and maybe just change these depth here. So as you can see, yeah, we could do that in CAMWorks too, right? Pretty easily, not the biggest hurdle to do this. I hope you enjoyed these couple of videos here. Maybe not the most complex part, but it should give you a pretty good idea about how to handle those things in both SolidWorks and in CAMWorks. So I hope you enjoy it, and don't forget, if you got any comments or anything, you can go to catcamstuff.com and put them there, or you can email me at Lars, L-A-R-S, at catcamstuff.com. Thank you.